Welcome back to another episode of the Baddy Preshow Podcast. This is Chai.
This is Blaze.
And this is T2 Slade.
Last week, a bit of a rough week for the boys in the booth. Me and Blaze only got a grand total of 1 win combined. Not looking too great, but Blaze, you want to give us a full rundown, a quick speed rundown of how last week went?
Yeah, we can do a quick summary. We had off stream.
I'm timing you.
Okay. KK 2-0 against Joey. Candy 2-0 versus Heather. Chai 2-0 versus AJS. Pro Tip 2-0 versus Valk. HookResets 2-0 versus Jimbone. Wellens 2-0 versus Rich. Zachman 2-0 versus HookResets. Wang 2-0 versus Tuna Sub. Huckletoon 2-0 versus Salvo. Mad Cow 2-0 versus Lars. Pro Tip 1-0 versus Ooga Booga. Then Ooga Booga had to DQ. Firehawk 2-0 versus Wang. I'm assuming that must be in the elimination bracket. Huckletoon 2-0 versus Pro Tip. And then back in Swiss, Duds 2-0 versus Chris DPG. And Reaver 2-0 versus Cax. LPJ 2-1 over Kaiser. Zachman 2-0 versus Salvo. 2-1 versus Pro Tip. KK 2-0 versus Yif. Pro Tip 2-1 versus Valk. Candy 2-0 versus LPJ. Wellens 2-1 versus Duds. And finally, Mad Cow 2-1 over Chai.
Not too bad. You got it done in less than 2 minutes. Well done, well done. Round of applause.
I only wish I had filtered out the elimination brackets over the Swiss brackets. But the elimination bracket is heating up. It's coming to its climax, I think, next week with Firehawk versus Huckletoon. Reigning champ versus the new blood. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Just a quick note on another thing that happened last week. I am now 2-2 in my event. Candy Jack unfortunately had to do a last-minute dropout due to work-related circumstances. So it was Team KK versus Team Chai. And if you've ever seen me play against KK ever in your life, you know it's close, but I never win. It went down to last stock for both teams, and he beat me with a good edge guard.
Yeah, fun time for the Chai Invitational.
So Chai Invitational 4, the Invitational Revenge of Chilith. Congratulations, Team KK, for the win. Speaking of looking really impressive and congratulating some folks, though, we had 2 characters, not players, but characters that really stood out last week. I want to ask you guys, which character do you find more impressive? The K-Rool crowd or the Link Alliance?
You want to take this one, Blaze?
Which character was more impressive?
Yeah, we had 2 representatives for K-Rool go 2-0. Going into Swiss with Mad Cow and Wellens. And we have, in the final 3 of the elimination bracket, we have 2 Links. And we also have a Link who's also very heavily projected to enter exit Swiss 3-0 next week. Who do you think had more impressive week last week? K-Rool players or Link players?
I mean, it's not, K-Rool's doing well in Baddy Smash is not really news. So I guess it's more impressive that Link players are winning in the Swiss bracket and in the elimination bracket. Just in every tier of Baddy Smash, the Links are doing well. I would say that's quite a feat for for a character that you don't really see on the pro circuit.
I think Link has always done well in Baddy Smash, honestly. K-Rool has 2. I would say they're equally impressive, but there is a reason why I do think one character beats out the other, in my opinion. I think Link is just an all-around solid character. He can change up how he's played depending on the situation very easily. He's got a lot of tools. K-Rool is the kind of player, like when he first dropped and everyone thought he was overpowered, I figured out the character pretty quickly, and I started shutting them down. And I was like, this character is figured out. This character is done. But somehow, the top K-Rools in the Baddy Smash have brought him back. They've managed to take this character who has some very big weaknesses and make him a top contender in Baddy Smash, which is why I think K-Rool is the more impressive for K-Rool to be doing so good.
K rules have been in top 8 in Baddy Smash longer than Link players.
Yes, but there's also been way more K rules players as well until this season. This is the first season where Link just started sprouting left and right. Like Candy was the first one to actually bring Link into the spotlight. Then we've had Huckletune for a while.
Right.
And if we're just talking Link, not Toon Link, that's it. We've had K rules since season 1. Like that was a K rule. Mad
I don't
Cow.
know what season Mad Cow started, but he's always been in top 8 most of the time. And then like when there was during the D1 D2 like format, there were no K rules in D2 sort of like thriving, trying to compete into Swiss bracket, whereas there's always a Link ready to join Candy in the top 8 or in D1, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is there a correct answer to this, or is this just a discussion question?
This is just a discussion. I'm loving it. Right. I also just we're gonna talk about this question later because I feel like ranting a little bit.
Okay.
And that's gonna be our topic of the day. I do love our K rule players though. I love how different they play too. I love how like Mad Cow and Wellens play a character very differently, and they both have some efficiency. Like if you could combine them into one K rule player, they'd be a god. But I love how they play the character differently. I love how Wellens I can manage to beat, but Mad Cow isn't a complete enigma to me. But Link, I actually do love how Link has just dominated in the middle and top levels of play this season. I did not think of all characters. I mean, we have a lot of Wolves, we have a lot of Links, we used to have a lot of Donkey Kongs, we have a lot of K rules. I did not think Link was going to have the shine that he's having right now. But shout outs to Link. I actually think it's pretty even for both, and that's why I wanted to ask you two.
Yeah, it is funny. Both characters were not considered too good when the game came out. Even Link wasn't really considered terribly good until, I don't know, maybe a year in. I mean, I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure Link didn't really get any spotlight for a long time.
And they had that Link Infinite discovered with the Z-Drop bomb, but it's like never been incorporated into tournament play just because like I guess it's either too difficult or the Link players, I don't know. It's just one of those situations where the player base did not really lean into it, right? So like Luigi players really lean into their 0 to death. Kazuya players lean into their 0 to death. Rob players lean like there's a bunch of characters that, you know, it's just like touch of death, you know. But the Link players didn't really lean into theirs, and they didn't really, you know, so.
All right. Now moving on from characters we thought were impressive to a player specifically. Blaze, you've been backing this pony for a while, and I was one of only 2 people to bet on this person and won thousands upon thousands of Bitcoin betting on LPJ on stream against Kaiser, showing us why people fear the Little Mac. How long have you known this Little Mac was this good, Blaze?
Too long. I've known too long that this Little Mac was too good. I was just a little bit worried after, I think there was a week where LPJ didn't get many wins. I think it was definitely that week where she lost to Chris DPG, where I was worried about, you know, how far she would make it, but she turned it around. Great win last week. So I expect to see more wins like that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I played with her in friendlies, and she's really surprised me with how good she is. I don't think her on-stream game is always as good as she is. So it's nice actually seeing it come out. But, you know who that other person was who bet on her?
Was it you?
Who was it?
It was me, baby. Both going straight to the bank. I got so many points off of that one.
No, it's great. It's also frustrating. I know how Kaiser plays. Kaiser likes to play as optimally as his brain will allow him. And if you've LPJ has the immaculate mind, like mental when it comes to Little Mac. I don't know what changed between switching from Puff to Mac, but her mental definitely seems like it's been stronger to the point where she's completely fine going to Mac's absolute worst stage in our stage list and just fighting there and like actively letting that happen. And I love to see it. I love to see that. Yeah, do it. Take me to Battlefield. I fucking dare you. It's my favorite stage.
Yeah, I said this on stream, but her use of platforms really surprised me. She looks like she's wave dashing in Melee, the way she uses platforms to maneuver around projectiles. And I get it now. I get why she doesn't mind going to Battlefield. Because it helped.
Go ahead, Blaze.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't say anything.
But no, there's an optimal way. I was kind of mentioning Kaiser as a person who always wants to play optimally, and you could tell at the beginning of that match that he was fully intent on platform camping mech the entire time. And something happens whether you're on when you're in a big match like that where you just stop doing, mainly because you're maybe I'm being lame or maybe I'm just not having fun anymore. But you just stop doing the optimal thing and then you lose.
Yeah, you can only have so much information going through your brain at a time in a fighting game when reactions are so important. And that happens, especially when you got someone as scary as Mac and as scary as LPJ's Mac. When the pressure comes, only so much information can be there, and that your initial strategy might be going out the window. It really is hard to just stay in the mindset sometimes when someone can kill you at 60% with an F smash.
Yeah, it's brutal. But that conversation about a character that can just be difficult to deal with leads me into our topic of the day. And audience at home, feel free to throw a conversation either into the Discord channel or on our this YouTube video page, and tell us your answer to this question. Blaze, T2, we've been a little sunshine and rainbows for the past couple weeks. I want to see some salt. Blaze, what is your least favorite character to play against?
My least favorite character to play against. I think it would be Ice Climbers because I don't know what's going on. Once the desync happens, I don't know what to do next. So I think I have a friend that plays Ice Climbers. I'm not even going to say friend because I hate Ice Climbers. I know someone that plays Ice Climbers, and I think they know enough mix-ups to the point where even if I did know, let's say the first Ice Climber 0 to Death, let's say I'm talking about the first Ice Climber 0 to Death discovered, right? Even if I knew which direction to SDI out of that combo, there are enough variations of Ice Climber to 0 to Deaths that I would still die. So, very frustrating character to play against.
Slade?
Yeah, I would. You're gonna bring out the worst in me on here. I try not to let.
Give me it. Bring out the pickaxe. I want that salt mine coming out.
Salty Slade.
I hate zoners. Absolutely hate zoners, and I try not to let it affect my casting. But when I play a fighting game, I like to be aggressive, and I like to be rush down in your face kind of play styles, and zoners tend to really shut down. You can definitely still rush down a zoner, but a very good zoner makes it hard. You really should take your time. You should do some dash shields, start approaching slowly, and it just throws me off my game. I can't play that way. So
biggest offender amongst the zoners crowd that just gets under your skin, Slade?
You mean a character?
Yeah, I mean you also play a zoner. Didn't you play a Snake?
I was going to bring that up. So Snake, I actually love fighting against Snake. And it's because his projectiles aren't linear, I'm going to call it. When he uses a projectile, it doesn't just go straight and hit you. The grenades take time to explode. Mortar takes time to fall. They're all things that you can use movement to get around. And that's fun for me. If he throws a grenade, I can ignore it and run right at him. I could freak him out. So I love fighting against Snake. He's actually really fascinating in my opinion and a well-designed zoner. The kind of ones I don't like fighting against, the biggest one is Toon Link. I hate Toon Link. All of his
shout outs to T2. Shout outs to AJS. Shout outs to AJS.
Yeah, this is you too, Chai. You are awesome. You did leave a bad taste in my mouth as well. Just arrows and bombs, both linear and boomerang. All three of them can just go forward linear, and depending on the situation, you can use all of them in different ways. And it just makes it really hard to approach. It makes it so you have to take your time. So that's my huge John there. I think Smash would be a better game if you removed 30 characters.
All right, my salt factory. And if you watch any time I play against KK, or if you watch my match against Mad Cow, you would know I fucking hate playing against fat characters. Fat, heavy, dumb, mouth breathy ass, big ass body characters weighing 9 million pounds. Or if I don't get my kill confirmed, you're gonna live to 190. Breathe your nuts against my face at 30% and I die. I fucking hate heavy characters. Get some Slim Fast. I think it's one of the food items that drop in this game.
That's honestly a hot take. I think a lot of people like
I hate
going
that shit.
against heavy just because they're generally combo fodder, easy to hit.
Yeah, you watch me combo Mad Cow from like 0 to 90% and then not kill him till 200.
That's true.
That's also on me. That's on me not getting those confirms. But when you can't, and you're a character that relies on it, or your character that like doesn't have like it has only like maybe one or two really easy kill moves like that you can just throw out, and the rest you kind of have to combo into. It's brutal.
Yeah.
AJS definitely called out at the end of, I think, game one. You had done maybe 610 or 640 damage done to Mad Cow.
I did 637% to Mad Cow.
637. And we're waiting. We're still waiting on if there has ever been a higher damage given in one game.
Don't think there has. I really don't.
Insanity.
That actually is insane. That must have been so frustrating.
God, you can like Cax got to like listen to me yelling at my television, especially game 2, and I try to run off and stage spike him, but it's K rule, and it's like one of the hardest characters edgeguard in the game, and I just yell out after I get reverse spiked. I'm like, I'm such a fucking moron. God, fucking, I hate heavies. You know what I don't hate though is the slate of games going into next week. Let's talk about some of those.
Yeah, we should. So we have a rematch right off the bat, right? Lars versus AJS 0. This is
two rematches that we didn't get to see either for the original one this season. Both are off stream.
I think Swift might have some salt towards Lars. Lars has definitely been a personal gatekeeper for AJS, where Lars lets everyone else into the next round except for Swift. And I think there was a podcast that I did with Chai where we're doing like not a tier list, but just like ranking all the players. And it was one week in particular where you were like, oh, 17th for AJS? That doesn't make much sense, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Chai, AJS has a recorded history of playing against losing against the same player over and over. He's playing someone next week. He's lost to them before. The odds, like, I would love to raise AJS as a higher ranking if he can, like, download and adapt to a player that he has already played against. And then he lost. So I think that is definitely one of AJS's weaknesses, whereas like learning from past losses he's taken, and he's got to win this. You know, he has to win this if he wants to try to make that playoff bracket.
Okay, so you think Lars is going to take this one?
Yeah, if you have a gun to my head and you're asking me to put Baitcoin down, yes, I think Lars is going to win this one.
I actually think AJS might, if he brings out that Samus, his Samus is really good. It made me sweat a little bit when we played last week.
But another variable is because the last stream game it was against me. So the last game that I saw Lars play was with his Sephiroth. Sephiroth versus AJS, I think AJS has a stronger chance of winning. But Lars's Bowser versus AJS, I'm betting on that Bowser.
T2, who do you see in this one?
I think I really like what you said about Samus. I don't know if if AJS will whip out the Samus, but I do think Samus is a great counter to Lars's general character pool. So it's a hard one. I think when the pressure's on, AJS doesn't crack. So I would put him actually a little bit ahead in this match, and I think I'll go with him.
All right. On the other hand, we have another rematch too. Kaiser versus Heather. Kaiser coming off a loss against LPJ that a lot of people thought he would win. He admitted himself that there was a lot of stress in the background. just personally that was causing him to not do so well. We all have our Johns. I have mine. His is a little more serious, a little more valid, but hopefully you can try to get that mental, a little more iron and focused against Heather, who he lost to last time. In accordance to him, an SD really just sent him off tilt, and that can get to the best of us. Blaze, you've played more with Heather than I think any of us. What do you think really shines with this Ridley in a matchup against a Wolf?
What shines with Heather is the gameplay is the game plan is the same regardless of who she goes up against. She sticks to her guns. She knows her strengths and she's going to use them. I'm going to bet on Heather on this one. Heather beat Kaiser in the previous match. He's coming off a loss. I'm going to bet on Heather.
Yeah, I am so happy we get to see this one on stream because I really wanted to know how this game went when I saw that Heather won. And I've said this before, but I just love seeing Ridley on stream. I hope we do see more of it. I'm not going to actually say, I'm not going to put my mouth on either of these two players, but I'm just happy. Like, this is going to be a fun game to watch.
100%.
For sure. But I mean, we got some really heavy hitters. Like, we got Candy Jack versus Mad Cow this week. Like, that has got to be a banger of a match. I mean,
I'm gonna love watching this week. I'm gonna love watching this week because no K Rool is gonna win, and it's gonna feel so good to watch K Rool lose.
You think so?
Oh no, it's KK and Candy. I'm pretty sure a lot of us know that there's like a dividing line between those two and the rest of us.
I agree.
Mad Cow has beaten Candy Jack before.
Yes,
he has. I don't think he can do it now.
That's why, I mean, these are good. Again, these are going to be another two banger games because Candy Jack and KK are definitely two favorites in the K Rool matchups. But Mad Cow and Wellens are both people who it's hard to bet against them sometimes just because there's such wild cards. Like, they could take it easy. Either of these two could take a win. Like, I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't feel safe putting too much money on Candy Jack and KK.
I would. Easy money in my life. I'm gonna bet like thousands of points on them. Speaking of links, though, on the other end, elimination bracket. There are 3 people left. There are 2 links left. You think either of you guys think a link's gonna win it all?
No, Firehawk will win it all.
Remember last time you bet on Firehawk?
Doesn't matter. Still staying firm. Firehawk will win the whole thing.
I mean,
nah, man.
I've heard a lot of big talk about Firehawk, but I haven't seen too much yet. So I'm not that confident. I'm be more than happy to be proven wrong. We'll see if he ends up on stream.
You're not confident in Pyra F Smash. That's what you're saying to me right now?
Against the one of our esteemed guests on this show, the man, the myth, the legend. You think he can fuck with the Huck? I don't think so. I think Huckleton's winning it all this season for elimination bracket, and I'll be cheering as loudly as possible.
Yeah, dude, I'm confident in the bombs, the Huck bombs.
Okay, hold on. What do you think the set count will be if Huckleton beats Firehawk?
3-1.
3-1. Slade?
Thinking 7-0.
7-0. Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna win
more
so
games
hard
than even
count.
possible.
All right. Okay.
Lastly, talking about matches upcoming this week. It's something I've loved watching this. We had AJS on last week to talk about the format, to talk about how seeding mattered, and to talk about how certain games can get you, like how they can affect your entire bracket going forward so that every game mattered. This is the Ballad of Cax's Season 6 and Blaze's Season 7 group stage. If you look at some of the remaining games we haven't talked about, we have Blaze versus Chris DPG and Albino Joe versus Cax. Now, these matches, all matches in Swiss are set up for seeding, so you'd think to yourself, why are the 4 best players, arguably, that are 0-1 playing each other and not playing, quote-unquote, lower opponents? And that's because, Blaze, you lost to LBJ in group stage, didn't you?
Sure did.
And you were 5th last season, right?
Sure was.
And now you have to play against Chris DPG, who's looking smoking hot. Coming, maybe one of the hottest 0-1s you can be right now.
Yeah, that's
looking really good against
another
duds.
player that put in the work, man. I mean, he
is.
He's in the arenas day in, day out, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. So this could go either way. Like I wouldn't even. I mean, I never bet on myself, but I wouldn't even bet on myself with my Baddy Bitcoin in this matchup.
I know, and it's so interesting to see. I mean, I don't mean to talk poorly of you, but I expect a lot out of you because I know how great you are as a player. And so, like, having your seed start low, so you have to play one of the best players in your 0-0 game. Now you have to go 0-1, and since you have this arbitrarily lower seed, seeding matters more than ever this season of Baddy Smash, and it's really showing in group stage for the group Swiss stage.
Yeah. So it sounds like we're all in agreement that Chris DPG is going to take the win over Blaze.
Oh yeah, he's gonna power fist his little cute butthole.
That's what it sounded like to me. But yeah,
and then,
I mean, you're
and
right.
then coming back. Go ahead.
I do really like this that your previous seasons and your who you win and who you lose against really affects it. So we're seeing matchups like Blaze versus Chris DPG. It's fascinating. It's interesting. I really like it.
Same thing with Cax. Cax was undefeated this season in the regular, the early preliminary stages. He, however, placed 18th, which is a big oof last season. So even though he's been looking great, like his seed's still so low that he has to play against, some of these heavy hitters. Like Albino Joe's someone you can't fuck with. He's always a perennial top 8 threat. And you're in the 0-1 bracket and you have to fight against him. That's such a hard thing to have to step up into right away. When again, if you just had not done at least a little bit better, or in his case, had better internet connection, if Spectrum had not railed him in his boy pussy, he'd be a lot better off than he is right now.
This is also Albino Joe may fall victim to the player matchup in the sense that Albino Joe
God, I just realized
hates Hero.
I just realized. Blaze, you're onto something.
I was remembering as you were discussing that I was just like, oh man, like this is ugly. This is ugly for Joey fans.
That's gonna be a great one to watch too.
That is gonna be a great one.
That one because I'll be all over it.
But again, next week is gonna be a lot of fun. Thankfully, no one aside from people in the elimination bracket will get eliminated. So we have another week to see some of these top 16 players go at it. But to close out some of the base part of the show, let's talk about the baddie bet of the week. I got a good one for you, gentlemen.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, Swiss, as you know, last week there wasn't a lot of upsets. Some games were kind of just a blowout, but that's like generally the first week of Swiss when everyone's 0-0 and it's only matched on seeding. But now we have people who have more identical records, which is nice because the games are going to be closer. So, here's my bet. I am willing to bet that there will not be a single, not one, 3-stock the entire night. Either in elimination bracket or Swiss stage.
Wow.
No 3 stocks.
Not one. Not one on stream, at least.
That is a good one. That is a toughie.
These matches are all really close. We were just talking about how these are all going to be really entertaining matches.
I think, okay, here's the thing. I think there will be a 3-stock in the elimination bracket.
You think so? You really betting on Firehawk that hard?
There's 3 players left, right? Huckleton,
yes.
Firehawk, and Zachman?
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a 3-stock.
Do you want to know what the punishment is if you lose this bet?
What is the punishment?
2 of us are still in this competition. T2 Slade will come up with something for a punishment against you if you get it wrong. We'll come up with something different for you. But for me or Blaze, actually no, you'll have to change your commentary. You're a commentator still. You have to change your commentary tag. Punishment is the opponent gets to change the tag of the other for the next week.
For 1 week, for 7 days.
For 7 days. And if you're going to be, we're all going to be on stream, whether it be commentators or players. So you could be introducing the stream. Hey, this is AJS, and I'm on stream with I'm Poopy Butthole, or I'm Stinky Buttman.
This is way more of a punishment for me, I feel like. I
Yeah,
we
you
all
know,
could
me and
end up
Blaze also
casting
cast.
it.
Yeah, we could all end up casting. Me and Blaze could have our Switch tag be what you want it to be. But I firmly believe, I think the only thing there's a threat for the 3-stock situation is whomever has to play against duds in the 1-1 match. I think that's the only game that'll potentially have a 3-stock, but I'm betting against it. I don't think there'll be a single 3-stock the entire night.
Cax could go 3-1 versus Albino Joe. But the thing about Joey's Palutena is it's never going to SD. I've never seen Joey SD with Palutena or his Duck Hunt for that matter.
That consistency is what makes you so good.
Kaiser could also SD, but he's probably not going to get 3 stocks.
Man, I feel like you're looking at all the wrong games. But I'm gonna let you choose. I'm gonna let you choose first place. So let me know when you want to lock it in. When you got your thought process out.
I'm not changing my tag. So I'm gonna say there will be no. I'm gonna bet on there will be no 3 stocks.
All right. So if there is,
hold on. If there is a 3-stock, he gets to change both of ours, and if there isn't a 3-stock, we can change if T2 bets against.
Right. But there's the chance that there's a chance.
Blaze, I want you to know that I'll switch sides if all of us are on accordance.
Oh, here. Let me go. I do think there will be a 3-stock. So we're fine. We're golden.
Okay.
But I am disagreeing with your reasoning, Blaze, is all I'm saying. I highly doubt there will be a 3-stock in elimination bracket. I think those players are too close in skill. I don't even think if Kaiser SD that it would still end up being a 3-stock. I think that game is still going to end up being too close. But where I do think, there's literally one game. I am betting this result on one game, and that is KK versus Wellings. As long as KK doesn't fool around, I think KK could 3-stock Wellings. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen every game, but I bet you it'll happen once.
But KK loves to fool around game 2. Like, he will play the game 1 seriously, and then game 2 he'll like switch to your main or switch to a me brawler that looks like Fox or something ridiculous.
And I am betting on game 1 KK.
Oh, I guess you're only betting on 1 3-stock. Okay.
Yeah, I only need 1, and that's where I think it's going to happen. But yeah, I'll say there'll be a 3-stock. I think it'll happen.
No, I think Wellens is too good to get 3 stocks.
I also think Wellens, if I can take 2 stocks off of KK in a crew battle, Wellens can take 1 stock off of him in a match that actually matters.
I'm just saying, KK has 3-stocked the highest level of players in the league. He's done it before.
That's true.
So saying he's too good to get 3-stocked against KK, I think is just not true. I think anyone in this league could get 3-stocked by KK. Especially since he's got the Kazuya now. I honestly think it's more likely to 3-stock than the DK even. And the DK had 3-stock potential.
Hands down.
All right, so that brings 2 of us thinking that there isn't going to be a 3-stock, and one of us thinks there will be a 3-stock. You will definitely see the names next week, depending on the results.
Yeah,
and hell, I'll even change my Discord tag to it for the week.
Okay.
If I'm wrong.
I'll do that too. But I can't wait to, like, if I lose, I'm not looking forward to being like, hey, streamer, hey, Swift, you can't write 2-2 Slade. You gotta write Booby Butthole. I lost a bet.
Big oof.
Anyway, that's it. That's been it for our base show. Up next, we have our interview with the man we all believed in, the man who made us tell our mothers how much we love them. We got HookResets coming up real soon. But first, a commercial break.
Today's Baddy Pre-Show Podcast is brought to you by Baddy Baitcoin Loans. Did you bet all your Baitcoin on Salvo winning because you were sure Luigi Upbeat was going to hit? Were you in an arena with Reaver before his stream match versus KK and he told you he was definitely going to beat him, so you bet all your coin on Yif? Well, if you are all out of Baitcoin, why not sign up for a Baddy Baitcoin loan? Simply give us your name, place of residence, age, birthday, number of dependents, phone number, social security number, urine sample, blood sample, semen sample, stool sample, bone marrow, and we'll help you find a loan as well as payment plan that suits you. Baddy Baitcoin Loans. We're the other BBL.
Welcome back to the Baddy Pre-Show Podcast. For our interview guest of the week, we have someone who's out of the fight, but definitely showed a lot of spirit and a lot of heart in their first season of the Baddy League. HookResets, Cal, welcome onto the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing all right. I'm just vibing.
All right, I got a few questions for you. I'm just going to lead with the first one. How are you relatively new to Smash Brothers? Is this your first Smash game?
So when I was a kid, I played Brawl. However, very, very little bit, and I didn't really play against other people. I just kind of played for fun, like the campaign. And then this is definitely the one I put the most time into. I would say I'm very, very new. I'm not new to like competitive games, but this game, fighting games in general, yeah, very new.
But Brawl was your first game. That was your first Smash game.
Yeah, first Smash for sure. Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Who'd you play in Brawl?
I played Ike and a little bit of Link.
Hell yeah, Ike, boys, let's go.
Yeah.
Blaze, what'd you have for that follow-up question?
I love the Baddy origin stories. I've heard that you were in several other Baddy leagues, HookResets, so I want to see I want to hear what the first one was, who brought you on, and how did the trail lead to Baddy Smash?
If you go like way back, I met a guy named Thor74 who doesn't play anymore, but he introduced me into the Swain Baddy League. I actually met him online through a Minecraft thing, so it kind of goes all wacky wild in that. But basically, he introduced me into the league, the Swain Baddy League, where I've met a lot of people from there. I played in I believe it was a second Overwatch League, and then third and fourth in a couple, and I think third, 2, 3, 4 maybe, and then I played in the SBLs. I probably played like 4 or 5 seasons. This is my first time Smash League, obviously, but I have watched a little bit. But I've not had the game. I didn't have an Ethernet port for my Switch for forever, and I was like, man, if I show up, these guys are all gonna hate me. I don't like. I'm already.
You missed
bad.
on the era of Ohio lag, man. There was plenty of hate to go around. I forget. Were you in Valorant League, the Baddy Valorant Leagues at all either?
That was something I wasn't. I'm actually, funny enough, I was okay at Overwatch, but FPSs, I'm pretty awful at. I thought about joining Valorant, but I couldn't even like get ranked. Because at the time you had to win 10 ranked games. I played like 3 and lost them all, and then kind of lost motivation. But,
Right.
yeah.
So you got your start with the League of Legends, which I do remember because I did draft teams and I always wanted to get you, and you always went super high. You were a solid player in League, so I was definitely curious to see what you could do in Smash.
Yeah, I'm not very good at Smash, but I'm trying. I'm getting
I wouldn't
there.
say that. The base skill level of this league is above average, I would say. So the fact that you're able to even hang with these guys means you are doing just fine. Trust me.
I appreciate that.
Cut. Quick note, real quick, Slade. If you could just move your microphone a little bit away from your face, you're popping in pretty high.
All right.
Anyway, I'm going to do another staccato to make sure I know where to cut this. Cut. Go ahead for the next question.
I get it. So this was your first time playing in Baddy Smash after previous Baddy leagues. So what was your week 1 initial thoughts coming in, fresh new Ethernet cord, trying to get your footing in with a mix of players that you probably didn't know or probably weren't very familiar with?
I knew a couple of them, but actually I only knew one person that I played against. My very first week, I knew Valkyria. I met him through Overwatch, the Overwatch League. But funny story. My very first week, I I think I was staying the night because I was going to be taking care of my sister's dogs. So I had and my sister has a baby, so there's a baby crying. There's it's all types of mess my very first week, and I ended up
Fuck,
going
that sounds miserable.
It wasn't the best situation. I was a little bit tilted about it all, but I still, I don't know. My mindset was I don't expect to win anything, but I'd love to learn a lot about character matchups. Every single time I played my very first game, I would get destroyed extremely. But the second game was actually a lot closer for most of them, except for I think I played against Ooga Booga the first week, and that guy just destroyed me with Sephiroth and Hero, and I was I do not know what these characters do. It wasn't fun.
Hit you with that DLC special.
He randomed me though. He randomed me into Hero first,
Rude.
and then Sephiroth, and I was why?
Rude.
Yeah, matchups are so interesting in Ultimate because there's just so many different characters to fight against. But I mean, I'm glad you're saying that, that you're interested in the matchups. I mean, what's your favorite matchup? What's your favorite character to fight against?
Fight against. Let me think. Honestly, my best matchups were probably against Pro Tip Zelda.
Okay.
I felt like I had that one decently figured out. He still took some games off me in the very first week. I did lose to him, but I beat him second and third week. Or maybe not. Yeah, I ended up having a 2-1 record against him. But my favorite character to play against, I kind of liked playing against Wolf. I think that character was practicing against Chai on it, and then I had one game against Tuna Sub. And that character felt I still could do things, and I wouldn't get just absolutely just completely out of my league, I guess, just by the character alone and not knowing what he did.
Yeah, at the highest level, it's pretty gross what Wolf can do. But I think what makes Wolf interesting is that it's pretty. You can understand how to both play it and play against it at any level of play. It kind of leads into my next question: is that so you're pretty new to Smash Ultimate, pretty new to a lot of the characters, some of the mechanics, and newer characters tend to gravitate more towards more simpler characters, like your Wolves or your Kirby, Cloud, Samus. T2, you might have some insight in this because you played two pretty difficult characters with Joker and Snake, but Hook, why would you want to play Joker of all characters? It's a pretty difficult character to play.
Well, when I first saw that it was announced that Joker was going to be in Smash, I freaking love Persona 5. It's probably my favorite game of all time. And I was if I'm ever going to play Smash, that's the character I'm going to want to play. So I bought the DLC only for that character. And whenever I played it just for fun or now for Baddy Smash, I've tried to learn him. And it just so happened that I loved watching MKLeo, typical, best player in the world, blah, blah, blah. And just I felt I learned a little bit from him, but I wasn't able to truly understand it until I actually played in Baddy Smash. And I don't know, just a lot of what I could see from MKLeo, I was man, this would be so cool if I could pull that off. I still haven't, but it would be cool in the future if I could pull off.
That's a good goal to strive to.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar to you, but I picked up Joker just because I thought he looks so cool, man. The way he moves, his attacks, the combos and stuff he can do, he just feels cool and looks cool. I just wanted to learn a character like that.
For sure. It's just, I mean, he's all about style, right?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
just kind of the character. It's awesome.
Yeah, new favorite player right here. We got it.
Blaze, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Did you sneeze into the microphone?
I hope not.
That was the loudest expulsion of noise.
I'm laughing.
Oh, that was louder than normal?
I'm gonna keep it in the recording, but like I think I just blew out my eardrums.
Yeah, it was
damn.
very loud.
I think it's because I could like kind of hear a little bit of static, and then it was like it was like turning down or turning it up or something, turning up the mic to like get the static, and then when you suddenly like made a noise, it like the mic wasn't ready, I guess.
Yeah,
Ladies and
I can't
gentlemen,
explain it
this expert production brought to you by the microphone guy at Best Buy.
Best Buy.
Hey, dude, how dare you come in here as a guest and start giving us good tips?
Hello, my bad.
No, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding.
All right,
Just
so
cut all that so people don't know our negligence. The fact that I can't say that word.
That's okay.
So-
Blaze, go ahead.
nothing is promised, of course. Hook resets. We do not have any confirmation of Baddy season 8. But if there was, hypothetically, what would your goals be if you were able to compete in season 8?
My goals would definitely be to have a probably just honestly I love playing one game at a time, so just one more win. I
Right.
think every single time I can get a win, I can feel a little bit better about myself, even if it's not like a series win. If I can get just a match win against certain players, especially like my goals are playing against the better players, and like what I loved about those arenas was just like I could learn so much more about the characters, and just whenever I'm like loading into a match first time against Sephiroth, I'm getting freaking screwed on. But like my goal will definitely be to know more matchups, know more of what characters do, and then just take off one more win.
Dude, you got that top player mentality, man. I really hope if there are more seasons you do decide to play, because I would love to see where you go.
I do have one major recommendation, and it's a thing you see from even players who are in the elimination breakout right now, but still do pretty solid. Players like our boy Huckletune, for example. You're talking about loving joining those arenas. Just grind the shit out of those arenas when you can. A lot of instinct is built over time, a lot of muscle memory, things that you've seen before, like, oh, I remember one time I did this and I got a successful punish off of it. Things that you learn from fighting other characters, things that you remember just from doing them enough times and seeing them enough times. Well, even if you're not looking stuff up, will just make you a better player over time. It'll give you better instincts. So I definitely would recommend that is an easy way. There are harder ways to get better, but as an easy way to get a little bit better, just play the game more.
That's a big one big thing about this season that I do have a regret is, or not really a regret, just an unfortunate circumstance, as I was moving down south during the season, so I really didn't have as much time as I'd like to have played. But
Oh, nice. Where'd you move to?
I'm in North Carolina now. I was in Pennsylvania before,
Very cool.
so I unfortunately lost a lot of time then. But it is as it is. I still had fun, and I still learned a lot. I'd love to play more.
T2, the podcast resident Joker, do you have any questions left for Cal?
You think you're gonna learn how to do drag downs at all?
I've been working on it. So I can do it against the bots in the training mode, but the real problem is I don't fully know how to catch somebody with it, I guess, or like how to start it off. I know I need to like change up my timings, but eventually that is one of the goals. I hope I can do it. If I can do it like on a stream, I'm just gonna like scream or something. I don't know. I'll record that and never play again. Maybe.
Hell yeah.
That'll be peak for me.
I'll be there screaming with you, man.
Yeah.
Now,
Blaze, any
here's
final
my
thoughts?
this is my last question for Hook Resets, because he said that a really good feeling after you got the run back against Pro Tip and won. You said you're looking forward to playing the higher players in Baddy. So, do you have any players in mind that you think there's probably going to be a rivalry, or is there anyone that you've got in your you've kind of got an idea like, oh man, I can't wait to play like this specific player because I have a game plan for them. Or I think this matchup will go pretty well in my favor, so I can't wait to play this top player.
Yeah. I've most of the top players I played against, I've definitely just gotten smashed on, so I wouldn't say there would be any rivalry, anything. I'd say probably the closest mid tier that I could ever have some sort of rivalry would be Salvo, as he's the one who introduced me into Baddy Smash. I forgot to mention that for some reason, but he told me, like, we were playing some other game, and he was like, "Why don't you just join Baddy Smash?" Yeah, I'm like, "I don't know," and he's like, "Just do it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I played a lot against him, and I've had some like winning sets against him, but it never feels like he's taking it seriously. So I'd love
That's
to
just
play
the salvo.
against him.
That's him
Yeah.
even in,
Yeah.
in actual
Yeah.
big stake matches.
Which is why I want to play against him in a big state match and like feel like, yeah, I can like fight against this. Yeah, I won't just get punished by his up Bs all the time. Like I really do feel like I've learned a lot playing, at least in the specific Luigi matchup that I'll never play against anyone else.
Next time you play him on stream, you know, in seasons to come, if you want him to play serious, just DM him and be like, "Yo, let's put $10 in this game, or let's bet a profile picture on the winner of this, and then you'll get a good game from him."
Okay. I'll have to keep that in mind next time. But
It's all about the stakes.
Yeah, I got Salvo to be a nice person for one whole Baddie League season, or at least his existence in that season. That was the stakes where I knew he grinded hard for the Sora Ditto.
Speaking of stakes, I almost forgot, because this is part of the reason I recommended to have you on the show, HookResets. Are you a listener of the show? Don't feel any guilt if this is your first time listening to the show or being a part of the show.
it's not my first time. I unfortunately did listen to a certain one. I think 2 weeks ago. I didn't listen to the last week one. I was a little bit too depressed, but after getting smashed a little bit, but I did listen to the one right before I got knocked out. Or
In which two of us bet it all on you.
yeah.
So do you feel any guilt knowing that we
Yes.
had all our
I don't know where you guys did that, but I'm like, as soon as I heard you guys do this, my jaw dropped, and I was like, why did two people bet on me? Oh god.
I
I've got to
believed.
perform. I know. I
As
think
the
I
great
better
Paul
made
Wall
it
once
towards
said,
better.
"You've got gamer genetics, baby. There's evidence."
If I could have beaten Valk, I think I could have just made it through. But me and Valk had played so many games, I think he'd figured me out a little bit too much, and I had not figured out all of his Mewtwo that he'd practiced a metric ton of coming up into that game, unfortunately. But
Yeah, Valk's
yeah,
so
my bad. I'll apologize right now.
No, you have
It's all
nothing to
good.
apologize
I feel
for. You did extremely well for someone learning the game, entering a Smash League. Valk is just a very dangerous player, and a very dangerous type of player that you'll probably run into more and more, just because that like he can play so many characters, right? So you're learning the matchups one by one, and he's selecting random. So it's like you like Monday you learn Peach, and then Tuesday you learn Link, and then Wednesday you learn to play against Snake, and then he selects random and gets Ice Climber. So it's like, well, what do I do now? So that's just tough, man. That's just tough. So eventually, after 90 days, hopefully you'll be able to be ready for Valk on random. If your rate of learning is one character per day. I don't know. Great job. Great performance in Baddy. I hope to see you in the next season.
Thank you.
Anything? Last thing though, Hook. You got anything you want to say to the audience before we close out the show?
Thanks to everyone who's really like been watching my games. I know a couple people messaged me and were like, "I hope you do well," and I really appreciate that. Thanks, Kaiser. Thanks, Chai, Salvo. You guys all helped me out a lot learning the game, and I honestly had a lot of fun. And also Swift, he did too. He helped me a couple matches, couple practice games. He saw me at my worst back before I actually practiced with everyone else. Besides Salvo, then Swift, and then I think I played with you, Chai, and then Kaiser. And honestly, like, I don't know. It's so much fun being able to like feel myself improve, and I really appreciate all of you guys for that. So thank you.
Oh, well, hey, that's been us here at the Baddy Preshow Podcast. This has been Chai.
This is Blaze.
And T2 Slade signing out.
Peace.